Dr. Len Horowitz. Let's talk about it. I've talked about him before in early videos, but I've never devoted a video specifically to him, Dr. Len Horowitz. Link in the description. Listen, this guy is a patriot. Um, Many years ago, he was involved in dentistry, and he was involved in specifically the behavior aspect of it, of coming up with literature to promote getting rid of people's fear of going to dentists. All right. That's what they was utilized for. And he was brought information about HIV and AIDS, and he didn't really want to go down that route because that wasn't his lane. Um, but he came across a certain report, links in the description, and which led him to a memorandum which sparked interest, and he looked into it. And when he looked into that memorandum, he realized that in the early 60s that Congress had utilized taxpayer money to come up with a biological weapon for to distribute through North America and then eventually Africa, um, where Linton Bionetics was paid. I said earlier 2.5 million a year. It was 10 million over 5 years, so that's 2.5 million a year to come up with this biological agent, utilizing viruses from a sheep mixed with a bovine to create a biological weapon that makes the immune system weaken, where you become susceptible to things like tuberculosis, candida, etc. And that program was successful, and that program is documented in congressional records, which he found in a North Carolina library, and subsequently wrote a book on that is pretty challenging to get your hands on. Limited copies, but you can do it because I've done it. At the time he was married. He's no longer married, and that sort of makes sense. I mean, when you are awakened on that level, it could cause havoc in your personal life. He was on vacation with his family, returning from vacation from his family and from Florida, and drove to a North Carolina. Well, was driving back north and stopped in North Carolina, and visited a library while his family was resting, and found these papers. Was led to the documents. Now, how he was led to those documents, I, the link for that is in the description. The link to that's in the description. It's insane how he was led to those documents. It's bigger forces at work here. In any event, I didn't speak to Dr. Len Horowitz personally, but about a year and a half ago, I reached out to him because he's living in Hawaii, and I wasn't able to get him, but I was able to get with his um, partner. He's no longer married, and his partner, she is a journalist. You could tell that this is 20, 25 years old now that he's been on the forefronts of this battle. So, he's done his time, and we salute him. We salute him. So I spoke to his girlfriend, who's a journalist, and I spoke to her about my daughter, Violet Monsees. And I spoke to her about vaccines and how our daughter was taken on the day she was born, hours on the day she was born, medical kidnapping. And I could tell when I was speaking to her that she had been bombarded with people like me who came across Dr. Lynn Horowitz's information and videos and reached out. And, her response was, well, send me the information, and, it's not a whole lot we can do, but we can publicly shame them. And I was disappointed at the time because I thought that, that we would we would able to be do more than public shaming. I don't want a public shame, but yeah, I guess it's a start. But they exist, and they're in Hawaii, and they're living their life, and I'm not mad at them. They did their part, and their part was putting the research together, making it plain for people like us to find, and leave it for people like us who are younger. Because I would imagine Dr. Len Horowitz was my age when he presented this information. This is 25 years later. So salute to you, Dr. Len Horowitz. You enjoy your retirement. We will pick up the reins and we will continue to promote your information and your literature since you have already laid it out for us, making effectively our job easier. You didn't have the benefit, Dr. Len Horowitz, of the internet when you found this information. What you had to do was go and travel and speak in public functions where you can get like minded or close to like minded people to come and listen and then go home back to their lives. We have an advantage that you did not have back then. We have the internet. Now, they say the revolution will not be televised. What they did not say was the revolution would not be digitized. So the revolution may not be televised because, five companies own the media outlets, but the revolution will be digitized. Okay. And so, welcome to the digital revolution. Um, AIDS, HIV, it's a hoax. Okay. Uh, Created in UCLA laboratory with taxpayer money, uh, documented, well documented, easy to find document taxpayer money. And so with SARS and uh, what's the other name of this? It'll come to me in a second. Um, and they've been mixing and matching viruses from animals, sheep, bovine, and coming up with these biological weapons and spreading them. And coronavirus is nothing different than that. The only way to get coronavirus is to allow yourself to be exposed to it. How are you exposed to it? By allowing yourself to be injected. Do not allow yourself to be injected with anything. Flu shots, none of that. A couple years ago, they were giving out flu shots, giving it away for free. Come to the Publix grocery store and get a $10 gift certificate, to get your flu shot. And why would anybody pay you to get a flu shot? If you believe, lie in the word believe, that your health is at the forefront of our government, then you have been living in a dream. As Morpheus said to Neo, you have been living in a dream world. And the dream is over. It's time to wake up. It just is. And like I said, w- this video is not intended to scare anybody. It's intended to just bring you information that we don't want you to believe anything that we say. We want you to look it up for yourself. So I have taken the time to go through as much information as I can go through. And I've been doing this for 14 years, really hard the last 3 years because I was motivated by the medical kidnapping of our own daughter, Violet Muncies. And it's time. You have pricked and poked the lions long enough, and we are swiping back digitally because it is not illegal to swipe back at you digitally. So here we go. Link in the description. There is a connection between coronavirus and HIV and AIDS and lupus and cancers because all of this is based on cancer research. And the evidence to this is everywhere, overwhelming. And you will continue to see media distractions to keep you away from that. But some of you will find this information, and some of you will share it. And I salute you for doing that. It is time. It is time to shine the light on the roaches and pull out the ray cans. It's time. Shout out to MREC TV. Shout out to Amina for leading the charge on protecting children in this country and children of the world. We salute you, Amina. Um, we our condolences go out to you for the loss of your king. All right, and we support what you are doing. We support your protection of these babies. We are going to continue to shout the need for you not to have masks on your children. We are going to continue to shout the information of COVID cases that have been tagged COVID cases, which last year would have been tagged for what they really were, diabetes, because people don't know what actually food is and are just eating foods that are spiking the insulin, spiking the insulin, spiking the insulin until their bodies become insulin resistant and diabetes sets in. And just because their eating habits are unbalanced, heart disease the same, and things of that such. We're going to continue to put that information out there. We are not doctors. We do not give medical advice, but we share, and we would love to be wrong. I mean, I would love to be wrong in anything that I've presented. I would love to um to be proven wrong that Pizzagate doesn't exist. I would love to be wrong that politicians haven't been involved in sex trafficking. I would love to be wrong that the space shuttle explosion of '82 that that was a that actually was a tragic event that killed 7 8 astronauts when you know 7 of them are still alive and only one has died of national natural causes. And I've emailed 2 of them. One is a professor in New York institution. Um, 2 of in Texas. I would love to be wrong on that. It's just everything that we look at and we look at deep enough, we find it. So we find it and we share it. Dr. Len Horowitz is in the description. It is an older video, um, but he's a pioneer for truth, and we salute him. So enjoy your life in Hawaii. We will pick up the reins and continue where you have left off, and we thank you. You have done us a great service in your efforts, and we will forever be grateful. Thank you for coming. God bless you. Good day. Link in the description. Share immediately.